better and shorten up some of the outs we have to get out of the bullpen.
The last 2 nights, the Orioles starters have done just that. Both Wei-Yin Chen and Miguel Gonzalez went deep into their ball games, yielding a run apiece. Both walked away with a win. So tonight, it is Chris Tillman's turn to try and continue that stretch of starters getting the job done and saving that bullpen. The final series before the All-Star game against Toronto next. It's the Orioles on Masson and a Friday night opener as the Blue Jays are in town for the weekend series. It is the final series before the All-Star break. You see all the floppy hats already on display, given away tonight, and a big fireworks display after the ball game if Mother Nature will cooperate. We'll see. Some rain this afternoon. Neither team got out on the field. No batting practice, no infield. Topper, however, has been removed. Looks like we're going to get this game started on time. Welcome, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and we get to see two clubs who like to mash here in this game. Take a look at the matchup so far this season between the Orioles and the Jays. The Jays have the advantage 6-4. Batting average for both teams high. Look at the runs they have put up. That's 11.4 combined runs per game. Home runs, oh yeah, these teams can hit those. They've averaged 3.4 home runs a ball game against one another this year. That means the ERAs are going to be high, and for the Orioles, particularly at 6.11. You have the number 1 and 2 teams in homers. The Orioles 1, the Jays 2 in home runs in the American League. So Mike Bordick, big mashers will be on the field.
Well, definitely, and that's what you expect from the American League East. I mean, Toronto Blue Jays obviously a powerhouse offense. Baltimore Orioles a powerhouse offense as well, and it really boils down to who's going to pitch better in the series. Of course, the Jays coming off a huge streak, 11 in a row, and the Orioles ran into that when they went up to Toronto, and they got swept 3 games by the Blue Jays. Their pitching was on, their offense was on. Well, the Orioles are starting to play better baseball, and the Blue Jays are starting to dip a little bit, so this is a great opportunity for the Orioles, but it's really going to boil down to who is able to execute their pitches and contain both of these offenses.
And Mike, this is a series where for the Orioles, you really want to put the foot down, because even the front office and even the manager, John Gibbons, over the last couple of days has started talking about, we don't know if we're going to be buyers or sellers. We're getting so far behind the pack right now. I mean, they're saying it indirectly, but they're saying it. This is a club that can be had at this moment, or it can be a ball club that's looking to get things turned around.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know which way they're going, and they're at this midpoint of the season, and there are still a lot of question marks. They showed if they can work together offensively and get the pitching going, they can be a team to contend with, and they got right back into the race, but they dipped off just as quick as they got into it, so they need some consistency. They're going to wait a little bit longer, I think, before they start pulling the trigger on making some moves. They still have a couple players to come back from the disabled list, a couple pitchers as well, so if they can stay healthy, who knows, by the end of July they may not make any kind of big deal or get rid of some of their players.
One of the things that happened for the Orioles earlier this year and last year when it comes to the pitching, especially the starters, is that they feed off one another, and they talk about that. When one goes out and has a good game, the one to follow wants to match or to do better, so on down the line. Well, right now you've had 2 really good starts made for Tillman tonight. He wants to go out and try and match the starts he saw from Miguel Gonzalez and Wei-Yin Chen.
Yeah, Wei-Yin Chen burst back onto the scene after being on the disabled list and threw a phenomenal baseball game. Miguel Gonzalez has been very consistent. Actually, in Chen's absence, Miguel Gonzalez and Tillman have pitched very well, but Wei-Yin Chen, Miguel Gonzalez, they showed how to pitch. Locate the fastball. Command of that fastball has been crucial for the success of this Orioles staff. And Wei-Yin Chen and Miguel Gonzalez proved that Chris Tillman has to go out and do the same. He has a real live arm. He has an extra day's rest. Maybe there'll be a little extra more velocity on that fastball, but he's got to be able to locate it, and that'll certainly make his off-speed pitches play out.
One of the things that's happened, of course, as Buck Showalter has talked about all year with the 2 starts consecutive negatively. The Orioles come into this ball game with a well-rested and prepared bullpen, and they've not been able to say that a lot this season when the starters have only gone 5 or 5 1/3 innings.
That's been the goal of Buck Showalter in this rotation. Try to get deep into ball games. And man, what a godsend getting into the 7th inning. Both Chen and Gonzalez and Tillman obviously would like to do that as well. But the bullpen, Orioles bullpen, has been rested, and they're putting up great numbers here into July. And it just proves that if starting pitchers can get deep into ball games, you're going to be able to get the most out of the bullpen. And there are some great arms in the Orioles bullpen, and they can match up very well with a lot of the powerhouse offenses in the league.
Nobody thought Chris Davis was going to be able to go through the entire season just slamming away at a home run in every 10 at-bats or so and have that average continue up there at that 350, 360 mark. Not that he can't be there at the end of the season, but you just can't run a season through with those kind of numbers every day, day in, day out. He had the slump, had an 0 for 17, got out of it with a major league leading 34th home run in the ball game last night. And now the hope is for Chris, takes a little weight off Mike, opportunity to just go back and now that that's gone, just start hitting again.
Yeah, just relax a little bit. You could see a little bit of the pressure. There was a lot of stuff building up. Of course, the All-Star game coming up, the votes coming in. Chris Davis, the leading vote getter in all of American League. So a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and maybe he thought he had something to prove, do a little bit extra, and maybe that's why there was a little bit of a dip. Of course, we heard about the sinus infection. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of pressures on the great power hitter Chris Davis. But I think that home run's certainly going to help him, probably make him relax a little bit going into this Toronto series, and hopefully he can go and enjoy a great All-Star game.
And what we're going to see in tonight's ball game, it's familiar to Oriole fans over the years, but hasn't been true for a while, is that Brian Roberts, the second baseman, is back in the leadoff spot. Now, it's been Markakis and McLeod who swapped that up, but Buck Showalter saying before the game tonight, it's just the numbers. You look at the numbers, what he's done against their starting pitcher, what he's done against Toronto, and our lineup, he wants right, left, right, left, right, left to make it hard for John Gibbons to be able to respond as the game goes along. So Roberts gets back into the leadoff spot for the O's.
Yeah, and I think it's a good move. I think Brian Roberts has shown since he's come back off the disabled list that he is going to put together some quality at bats. We saw Nate McLeod when he led off last night, working the pitcher, saw a lot of pitches. Brian Roberts has that ability to do that as well. I mean, he was one of the best leadoff hitters in the game for 4 or 5 years consistently. So he is no stranger to the leadoff spot, and it's good to have him healthy. I think he hit a home run last night as well, so his confidence is up there. He's going to have great at-bats, and I think this is a good start for him in the leadoff spot.
Mike, how important is it from the player's perspective? You're going into the All-Star break, final 3 games. There's going to be an extra day added on to that break, so you're going to have some time off. Players like to come back out, win or lose, and get right back on the field and start playing again. The importance of going into the All-Star break with a good series, a sweep, or 2 out of 3 against Toronto.
Oh, it would certainly help. I mean, the Orioles have had a great first half. They had a little bump in the road here in the beginning of July, but played well the last 2 games against Texas, so they're feeling good about it. They would love, against the American League East opponent, Toronto Blue Jays, to really finish strong and certainly enjoy the All-Star break. I think they will anyway. A lot of these guys certainly deserve a break, but of course with 4 players going to the All-Star game, not much there for Davis and Adam Jones, of course Manny Machado and J.J. Hardy, but well-deserved. They have played great baseball. They really have. They've been consistent. There have been some ups and downs, but something to look forward to, and if they can really play well this series, they will enjoy themselves.
Now keep in mind, this is the 2-for-1 series because you're playing against a team in your own division, and keep in mind, all of a sudden the numbers are starting to dwindle as to those chances. These teams have already played 10 times. That means there are only 9 left, and 3 of those are going to get played here this weekend. So if you're going to start making hay in your own division, it is time. I mean, there may be time to go, but it's time to win games in the division and make it work for you.
Oh, well, definitely. I mean, this is a big series, obviously, for both teams. I mean, the Blue Jays want to make a mark and play strong. They can get to 500 with a sweep over the Orioles, and the Orioles want to make a mark and say, listen, we don't want you back in the race right now. We want to put you guys down where you belong. So it's going to be a very exciting series.
All right, we are ready to go. This is the first of 3 here at Camden Yards tonight after the rain has stopped and hopefully will stay that way for the rest of the night. Game 1 coming up. brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. As we get set for the ball game tonight, yet another new addition to the Orioles roster. Jairo Asensio has been called up from AAA. He is their closer there. He's a veteran, 3 major league seasons, Atlanta, Cleveland, and the Cubs. He's 30 years old, 4-0 mark, ERA 2.15 with 20 saves this year. Josh Stinson optioned back to Norfolk, and to make room for Asensio, they have designated for assignment Jair Jurgens. We'll see whether or not Jurgens ends up staying with the Orioles or not. And for Asensio, obviously an inning or 2 is the most they would expect to get out of him while he's here. And with overcast skies here at the ballpark tonight, we're going to get this game underway a few minutes late. Here's our train game time temperature. Temperature has dropped 75 degrees. Humidity, though, at 79%. Train is celebrating its 100th anniversary by offering irresistible financing. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. For the Toronto Blue Jays, Reyes, Bautista, Hernan, Encarnacion, Lynn, Rasmussen, Davis, Arancibia, DeRosa, and Kawasaki. Against the Orioles, Kawasaki, who's going to be playing second tonight, really good numbers this year.
Yeah, take a look at the scouting report tonight from Chris Tillman. He's looking to start a new streak. He had a career-high 7-game win streak snapped in his last start against New York, and he and the Orioles would love for him to start another one tonight. It all comes down to fastball command. Chen and Gonzalez were great examples of how successful you can be when you command the fastball. Tillman looks to do that tonight against a tough Jays lineup. Of course, fastball command will certainly lead to secondary success, and Tillman has some good ones. A big curveball, hard slider, and a change, but I think it's going to be his changeup that's going to be effective off his fastball. And here you see some numbers. Opponent batting average at 259, lefties 248, and righties up to 275.
Both these teams tend to be fastball hitting teams, power hitters. So we'll see tonight how much the off-speed deliveries matter for both Tillman and Mark Burley, who makes the start tonight. There is John Gibbons, his ball club 3 games below 500. They're 11.5 out in last place in the American League East. Tillman ready to go. Reyes, his first action against the Orioles this year, and the first pitch is lined to short. That didn't take long. Reyes out of there, 1 down.
Right at the Gold Glover, J.J. Hardy, and he will be at shortstop for the Orioles. In the outfield, McLeod, Jones, and Markakis. Brian Roberts playing second base. Machado and Davis on the corners with Matt Wieters behind the plate.
Here is Bautista. Bautista getting the start in right field. And he will take the off-speed delivery for his strike. He is 6 for 15 with 2 home runs off Tillman in his career. There are some pretty good numbers against Tillman by a number of the Jays in the lineup tonight. Bautista will swing over that one 0-2. Against Toronto, 7 career starts. Tillman's 2-2 with a 4.07 ERA. Here in this ballpark, 1-0 against them with a 1.98 ERAs. Had 2 starts against Toronto here at Camden Yards. Chris at home this season with that 4-2 record, away with that 6-1 mark. And foul back by Bautista.
Some good fastballs here in the early going from Chris Tillman. Nothing over the heart of the plate. It certainly has to work the edges, especially in the advantage, getting 2 strikes early.
Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be in the dirt. Will we have an early home run derby in this series? The Orioles come in leading everyone with 125 home runs, second in the American League. Toronto with 112. Here's the 2-2 delivery by Tillman, and that will be popped up in the air, maybe. Davis, and runs out of room. And the count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. One of the things we were talking about before the game, Mike, for Tillman, trying to keep that pitch count acceptable. Tends to run up on him in a hurry.
Yeah, it really does. Chris Tillman, one of the pitchers in the league, gets a lot of foul balls. Pitch counts get up.
Got him looking on that one.
Oh, steady dose of fastballs and drops this big hammer on it. Take a look at the Verizon Fios Exmo here. Great late bite right at the bottom of the zone to freeze Batista. Verizon Fios making life more entertaining with America's fastest, most reliable internet. That's powerful.
Encarnacion up with 2 down and nobody on. He is 6 for 18 off Tillman. There are the numbers on the year. Those 23 home runs he has put up, good enough for 4th in the American League starting the day. And Encarnacion 68 RBIs is the Jays leader in runs batted in and 4th in the league. So part of the big powerhouse in the middle of this lineup for Toronto. 2-0 count with 2 down. And that ball put up in the air again, back and foul.
We'll take a little bit of a look here inside the numbers for Chris Tillman. He's been working on his strikeouts for sure. Great improvements. I think a cleaner, more consistent delivery creates a great downhill angle for him. You see the strikeouts in 2010 at 5.2 all the way up to 7.2 this year.
Davis in foul territory, and he's got it. Tillman has the clean inning. That's the way to start it for the Orioles. We'll take a look at their lineup when we come back. To fans, and there are lots of fans and lots of those hats. Here's the starting lineup for the Orioles: Roberts, Machado, Markakis, Jones, Davis, and Wieters, Hardy, McLaughlin, Reimold. Nolan Reimold against Burley. One of the reasons he's in those numbers.
Take a look at the scouting report. Mr. Dependable indeed. This veteran left-hander started at least 30 games and threw 200+ innings every season since 2001. And he has been on a roll lately. Last 9 outings, 6 quality starts, 4-2 with a 2.73, and he has a good veteran mix: fastball, cutter, change, and curveball. Take a look at his numbers this year. His 19th start, 4.50 earned run average, 73 strikeouts, and he works quick.
Roberts will take it to center field, right at him. Rasmus, he's got it. So Roberts is retired on the fly ball up.
We'll take a look at the Blue Jays defense behind Burley tonight. Davis, Rasmus, and Batista in the outfield. Reyes back from the DL at shortstop. Kawasaki moving over to second base. DeRosa at third, and Encarnacion over at first. And J.P. Arancibia behind the plate.
They are 12th in the American League in defensive fielding numbers. They've committed 58 errors. Compare that to the Orioles, who have only 30 on the year. Here's Manny Machado. Machado, a ground ball towards second base off the side of the mound. Kawasaki's got it. And 2 quick outs here in the first inning. Mark Burley, 34-year-old right-hander. You saw what Mike was talking about. He's ready to go, boy. He gets the ball back, and you have to step out on him sometimes in order to slow it down. Here is Nick Markakis. Markakis with big numbers against Burley lifetime. He's got a .419 average with 2 home runs off Burley. See the numbers on the season so far for Nick at .286, and he will take the pitch for a strike. The Orioles come in with a 2-game win streak, 2-2 on the homestand. Road trip underway for Toronto as they lost 2 out of 3 in the first part of this trip to the Orioles. They have won 6 and lost 4. Cleveland was the team that beat them 4-2 yesterday, and Cleveland winning 2 out of 3. Down to first and foul, 1-2 on Marquez.
Yeah, the Blue Jays certainly an up and down season. A lot of injuries to start the year, set them back a little bit. As players started coming back, they played better baseball. Of course, they had that 11-game winning streak. There's a look at one of the injured players who's back, Reyes.
That'll go to second base, played by Kawasaki. And that will retire the side. Any players with restaurant reservations tonight have the 2 right people on the mound, at least to start this game. No score. For your chance to win the grand prize, just go to MASNsports.com to sign up. And I'm getting ready for the All-Star game after the Orioles finish up on Sunday, heading up to New York. The league contingent, 3 others from the O's. Tillman will face Lynn, Rasmus, and Davis as we go to the second inning. For all the home runs these teams have hit, for Toronto, they have not had a home run in the last 3 ball games played, all those against Cleveland. So a bit of a drought there, which the Orioles hope will continue here in this 3-game set. Adam Lynn's the designated hitter, 5 for 19 lifetime off Tillman. Infield, modified shift, and he will take the pitch inside for a ball.
Yeah, Toronto, like a lot of teams in the American League East, really rely on the long ball to produce their runs, and when they go into a drought, you know, that could have effect for a while, because hitters start to force the issue, think they have to be the ones that hit the home runs with runners on base. We've seen the Orioles go through stretches like that as well.
Lynn with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The DH will take the pitch. That'll bounce out in front. Lynn has had a tremendous season against the Orioles in the 10 games played. He's hitting .429, 2 home runs and 4 RBIs in the 10 games played against the Orioles so far this year. And the pitch to him, and a big cut on it. 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Elevated fastball right here. Take a look at the Nissan pitch track. This fastball at the top of the zone, just enough giddy up at the end to get it by Adam Lynn.
2-2 delivery. Lynn will go into that shift. That's Manny Machado all the way over there. He gets it there in time for the out. The way these 2 teams have worked this season, the Orioles took 2 out of 3 in the first series here in April. Then in Toronto, they split a 4-game set in May, and then the last outing, the Orioles were swept by the Jays in the 3-game series in June. So John Gibbons Ball Club comes into this having won the last 4 against the Orioles, but in Buck Showalter's position, they've lost 9 of the last 12 here in Baltimore. Foul back into the screen by Rasmus. Colby Rasmus, center fielder. He is in the top 10 in striking out, 6th in strikeouts in the American League. 0-1 delivery to him, and that ball belted in the air to right, going into the corner. Markakis giving chase, fair ball. He'll go into second base and will pick up a double. That was almost like a wiffle ball double. Just kind of floated in the air and then died when it hit the ground.
All right, Markakis shading him off the line, actually, so we had a long way to go for that. Ended up being a pretty easy double for Colby Rasmus. And take a look at the swing. Gets it off the fist a little bit, and he's just floating out there. Markakis shading the gap. He takes his time to get over there, but fields it cleanly to hold Rasmus to that double.
So Rasmus on second, 1 down. Here's the speedster, Rajah Davis up. Davis facing Tillman for the first time, and will take the pitch for a strike. Toronto comes in 10th in the league with runners in scoring position at 257 as a team. They've got Rasmus out there. Machado even with a bag at third, respecting the speed of Davis. And that is inside, 1-1. Tillman got his win against Toronto in his last outing, May 24 against them. 3 runs, 10 hits over 5 innings. 1-1 delivery on the way. Check swing, strike in the outside corner. Davis with a quick turn back to the home plate umpire, Dana DeMuth.
Yeah, Davis didn't. He checked his swing. He wanted to know if it was a strike call on the swing or the pitch. And DeMuth says it was on the pitch. It was a nice slider from Chris Tillman.
So Tillman gets ahead of Davis, who's hitting only 194 with runners in scoring position. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Rasmus off second. He had to go after that one and fouls it off. Count stays at 1-2. That was too close to where that last pitch was that was called a strike.
Yeah.
So you go get it. Dana DeMuth's got the plate. Angel Hernandez at first. Paul Newart down at second. Doug Eddings at third base. Rasmus being held by Roberts. 1-2 count. Rajah Davis, ground ball, runner's got a hold in the hole. Speedy runner. Nice pick. Hardy gets a little help from Chris Davis. And they record the out, and you saw how quickly Hardy came up to throw. He knew who was running.
Yeah, that's the thing. J.J. Hardy has this in his bag of tricks. A great release. Very quick, accurate, strong arm as well. Helped out a little bit on the end by Chris Davis. Good play by the Orioles infield.
Runner had to stay at second. So Tillman now at 2 away. Faces Aaron Sebia. Aaron Sebia comes in with a 5-game hit streak. Toronto catcher. And he will take the pitch inside for a ball. 15 homers, 38 RBIs. He's gone 5 for 13 during the hit streak. Little bigger lead at second allowed here for Rasmus with 2 down. And the 1-0 delivery put in the air to center field. Jones going back and looking. And goodbye home run. Halfway up the center field bleachers. Aaron Sebia delivers the long ball, and Toronto gets a 2-0 lead.
Aaron Sebia has been swinging it against the Orioles recently. And of course, his 16th home run right here. This fastball. Ooh, take a look at the Nissan pitch track showing it's almost center cut. And JP Aaron Sebia doesn't miss that one. Hammering it to deep center field.
And with 2 down, Toronto gets on the board. Boy, Aaron Sebia is just having a career against the Orioles this season. That's his 3rd home run and 10 RBIs in the 11 games these teams have played. He's hitting .390 now against the Orioles this season. That is his first home run off Tillman. Tillman's 19th home run surrendered. And that'll be fouled back by DeRosa. So there's the first of what could be a number of home runs before this weekend is over. Tillman coming in with 11 hit by the left-handers against him and 7 by the right-handers. Adds one to the right-hand column. Chased outside by DeRosa. DeRosa's getting the start at third base. Mark DeRosa. Brett Laurie is down in rehab and playing at second base, where they're working him out for reasons not quite clear. A base hit into center field. DeRosa's on. So 3 hits in the inning with a homer double and now the single. There are 2 down. Tomorrow the O's will host these Jays in a special 4:05 game. First 20,000 fans 15 and over get the Adam Jones replica road jersey. Back the Birds. Don't miss the special promotion and add to the wardrobe. Your tickets are limited, so get yours at 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com. Kawasaki, he too's had a good year against the Orioles, hitting .303, the homer and 8 RBIs. Even with 2 down, Machado's in at third, and the pitch will be taken up high for a ball. See, Manny Machado is in on the grass at third base, recognizing the speed of the second baseman. Leaning back in DeRosa.
Kawasaki's been one of the Jays hitters that have really been a thorn in their side. A couple big hits from him.
Tillman, a short lead at first, sees that, delivers, and the pitch will miss. And the count will go to 2-0. Chris Tillman had the advantage in the win that he got against Toronto. The Orioles, for the 6th time in 61 games, scoring 10 or more runs for him. They did in that ball game that he won, as they won the game 10-3. He was non-decisioned in the first start against Toronto, which is back on April 22. Close game, 2-1. He ended up giving up only a run on 4 hits in a solid 6 2/3 innings. So go the baseball gods. Count goes to 3-0 on Kawasaki. Leadoff batter Reyes waiting on deck. And he's taking, and it's in there for a strike. 3-1, 2 down, 2 runs in here in the second inning. Orioles have now been out-homered here at home on the year, 68-61 at Camden Yards, with Aaron Sebia adding his 16th of the season. Tillman, the 3-1 delivery, and that's in there as well. 3-2.
There you go. Work yourself right back into the count. You certainly don't want to walk the number 9 hitter. Get to the top of this Jays lineup. Stay aggressive in the zone.
Tillman moves behind him.
And you got to make him put it in play to beat you.
Davis moves behind him, and he tells Tillman. Kawasaki 2 for 11 lifetime off the Orioles starter. 3-2 runner going, and that's going to go to Davis, and he's got it. And that's why you move off the bag. So the home run by Aaron Sebia after the double by Rasmus has given Toronto the early 2-0 lead. Daniel, you've won $500 for being selected. You get $100 more for every Orioles hit during our ball game, and an extra $500 for any Orioles home run in the 5th inning. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery Hit It Big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. So Burley has a couple of runs to work with here. His lifetime mark against the Orioles, 7 wins and 5 losses. Adam Jones will lead it off against him. Adams got a 4 for 16 lifetime off Burley, and the pitch will be taken outside for a ball. 288, 16 home runs on the year for Adam. 2-0. Burley has walked 30, struck out 73 in 111 innings. 2-0 pitch to Jones. That'll be fouled back. Burley has not faced the Orioles this year. Kind of surprising, but that's just the way it went.
Yeah, it really is. And fortunate to miss him. I mean, Burley's obviously a veteran pitcher. He isn't overpowering, but he can cause an aggressive offense to go into a panic, because he just really loves over-aggressive hitters. And the Orioles have an aggressive offense, a free-swinging team, likes to go up there and obviously hit the long ball, and he is the type of pitcher that can take advantage of that.
Yes, the Orioles, the 7-5 mark, 2.83 ERA, 16 starts, 18 appearances prior to tonight. 2-2 delivery. Jones will loop it down the line. That should stay fair. It does, and goes into the corner. Chased down by Bautista. Jones watching. He'll stop as Bautista gets it in. Adam Jones a leadoff double.
A great piece of hitting right there from Adam Jones. 24th double of the season. Take a look at the Nissan pitch track. That pitch is down and away, and Adam Jones staying on it, driving it down into the corner. Bautista lucky he comes up with this one clean. It's tough down there. Adam Jones taking note, pulls into second base easily.
So Jones on, and here's Chris Davis. Orioles come into the ball game second in the league in doubles. Only the Red Sox have more. Chris Davis will work with Reyes right behind the runner at second, so the shift is on in the infield. Pitch will be taken up high. See the most home runs before the All-Star break. Reggie Jackson holds the mark at 37, then Junior with 35. Chris right there with 34. He and Frank Howard, that's since 1933. Big cut on the off-speed delivery. See a lot of those numbers. There you see for Crush. They want one right there. They put the bullseye up for him. A lot of those signs showing up this year around Camden Yards. He's had one off Burley in his career, part of a 4 for 9 against Mark Burley. One ball, 2 strike count. Jones got to stay close at second with Reyes right behind him. And Burley will step off. Davis with a 1-2. Puts it in the air left field. That is way back. Going back, Raja Davis at the wall. Davis goes up, and goodbye, home run. Chris Davis, another one. Number 35 to lead the majors. Jones will score ahead of him. And the 2 All-Stars tie the ball game up at 2. Drilled it the other way. And Davis gets his second career home run off Burley and his 4th against the Jays this year.
Now Burley trying to go away, and Chris Davis staying on it. It is elevated, and he gets to it really well. There was a sign out there in left center field, and he hit it there.
There you see the opposite field home run. Rajah Davis got back to the wall, leaped, but it was back there a couple of rows.
Yeah, he's strong. I mean, that's incredible, and that's the definition of a power hitter. Power to all fields. And he showed it on that swing.
So with this game and 2 more left, we showed you the numbers of most home runs prior to the All-Star break. He's got a shot at it.
Yes, he does.
Only a couple shy. 1 ball, 2 strike count, Wieters. And Wieters on the swing and the foul ball that goes off Aaron Sebia. And a 1 ball, 2 strike count on the Oriole catcher. Matt has a 3 for 12 against Mark Burley. Davis continues to hit the home runs off both right and left-handers. More off the right-handers, but he certainly is not adverse to the lefties. He's had 9 now off left-handers. Burley gives up his 14th, with only 5 of those hit by lefties. Wieters goes towards the hole. Reyes is there. And the stretch by Encarnacion to record the first out of the inning.
You know the Blue Jays are happy to get Reyes back. Seen a couple good plays from him already in this ball game, but just total different dimension. A lot of weapons there, of course, with the glove, but offensively great speed, can really be a game changer for the Jays. So they're certainly happy he's back.
Only the 26th game that he has played with the Jays on the year. Here's J.J. Hardy. Oriole shortstop will ground it to their shortstop. Reyes again on the big bounce. 2 away. Here's a look at our Chevrolet League leaderboard, brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Now, most players with 15 or more home runs this season. Toronto Blue Jays leading the way with 4, but the Orioles right behind them with 3. The Angels 3 as well, and so do the Athletics. For the Orioles, it's Davis, Jones, and Hardy with 15 or more home runs.
And here is McLeod, who takes it for a strike. Nate's got a 4-game hit streak coming into the ball game. He's only had 4 at-bats off Mark Burley, 0 for 4 against him. McLeod, as we said, has really picked the pace up against lefties, hitting .273 off left-handers and .285 off right-handers. And that pitch will be taken outside. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Now this is a matchup that I would think would favor Nate. He is patient. He will take the ball the other way. He's not trying to mash it. If he gets a strike, he'll be more than happy to line it to left or left center. Yeah,
exactly. Mo, I think the hitters that have success off Burley are the ones that are patient at the plate. Let the ball travel as deep as they can, get a good eye on it. Nick Markakis, you talked about his numbers, and I think Nate McLeod certainly falls into that category.
3 ball, 2 strike count with 2 down. We haven't completed 2 innings, and we've already had 2 home runs, as we kind of thought we might see. With the major league leader getting one to tie the ball game up. And a swing and a miss. Really throttled back on that one. Chris Davis, after the leadoff double by Jones, picks up the homer, and the Orioles come right back after the Aaron Sebia home run. Davis tries it up. Sox, what a turnaround. They've got 19 series wins already, the most in the majors last year all year. They had 20. Alex Torres called up from AAA by the Rays on June 1. Since then, he leads all relievers in ERA and opponent batting average, and among major league relievers, he's had 30 strikeouts. That's second most during that span. And more bad news for the Yankees. Derek Jeter, the MRI today, grade 1 strain of the quad. He is out, and they're going to wait till after the All-Star break, and there is a possibility, said Joe Girardi, he'll have to go back on the DL.
Oh, wow. That is a tough break for the Yankees.
So, Jeter, 4 at-bats, and out again. 2-2 ball game, Tillman. And the pitch will be taken by Reyes. Reyes lined out. First pitch he saw went to Hardy at short. Reyes switch hitter. Machado in at third again. Showed bunt. Takes it for a strike. So far in the games he's played in, right-handed hitting .409, left-handed .278. He's picked up 4 home runs. 3 of those have been hit right-handed. Ball game starting out like many do, that Chris Tillman pitches with runs for him. 2-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be down the line, and that will be foul. And the count goes to 2-2 on Reyes.
Well, Chris would definitely like to have a quicker inning than that second inning. Jay's offense got to him a little bit. He ended up throwing more pitches. His pitch count already up there to 42.
Reyes 0 for his last 6. 3-2 delivery to him, and Reyes will foul it off outside of first. So the full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. These are the kind of at-bats we were talking about. This is going to be the 7th pitch of this at-bat by Reyes. 3-2 delivery, and he bloops it to third. Manny Machado gets here. Coming up on Sunday, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over get the Orioles replica batting practice hat presented by DAP. All kids 14 and under have the chance to bring their major league dreams to life running the bases at Oriole Park after the O's-Jays 135 game. Get your tickets in advance and save at 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com. Lots of young fans on hand tonight to see the ball game and the fireworks after. Bautista, strikeout victim, his first time up. 0-1 delivery. Going for a long ball himself, and the count goes to 2-2.
That's a real good fastball right there from Chris Tillman. Takes a lot of guts to be able to throw a fastball inside to Bautista, especially painted there. You make one mistake, he can certainly make you pay.
Bautista's tied for 8th in home runs with Trumbo starting today's game. He's got starting today's play. He's got 20. No breeze at all right now. 1-2 delivery, and the ball will be fouled back. This is a ballpark where he has a lot of trouble. One of the few. He's a 179 lifetime hitter in this ballpark, and it is the lowest average at any American League ballpark for Bautista, which is kind of surprising. 1-2 delivery will be taken up high. He has, however, had 8 of the 17 home runs he's hit against the Orioles here at Camden Yards. 2-2 delivery on the way to him, and he's gone.
Changeup. Take a look at the Verizon Fios Exmo here. This is a changeup. Certainly not the spot that Chris Tillman wanted, but certainly very effective against Bautista. He sees it elevated. He wants to take a hack at it. But his timing is off, and he missed that one by a bunch.
So Bautista gone. Second strikeout for Tillman. Encarnacion again proving there is no such thing as a fastball count in Major League Baseball anymore. Just doesn't exist. Encarnacion with a pop out his first time up, 6 for 19 off Tillman now. And that'll be outside. So the Jays right away end that no home run streak at 3 games with a home run by Aaron Sebia, and right away Davis shows that slump he was in may well be over with a couple of home runs, and that ball is gone. Way back, and goodbye home run. And the slugfest continues. Aaron Canesione delivers the long ball. Toronto gets the 3-2 lead, his 24th and his 69th RBI.
The Blue Jays have some hitters that if you fall behind, they are going to be aggressive. And Chris Tillman certainly did here. 2-0. And he leaves this changeup right out over the heart of the plate. And then Encarnacion backlegs it. That is a bullet. They got out of Camden Yards in a hurry.
His first career home run off Tillman. And Aaron Canesione, a line drive shot. It's his 11th in this ballpark. That'll be foul back. Adam Lynn with an 0-1 count. So both home runs in this ball game hit by the right-handers, and that's 9 by righties and 11 by lefties off Tillman. Foul back. 2-strike count on Lynn. Hot hitters. Canesione, Davis. Ground ball towards the middle. Shift on. Hardy gets over there but runs into Roberts and has no play. That'll be an infield hit for Lynn.
You always wonder sometimes about the shift, how players are going to deal with it. J.J. Hardy showing great range, but Brian Roberts was moving to the ball too. And just unable to get out of the way of Hardy. Tough break there for the Orioles defense.
So Colby Rasmus will get a shot, another power hitter. His double came in the second inning. Runner at first and 2 down. Rasmus will take it for a strike. Rasmus hitting 182 with a home run, 3 RBIs against the Orioles coming into the ball game, and picking up that double in his first at bat tonight. Tillman, the 0-1. Rasmus puts it in the air to left field. McClough coming hard, sliding, and he's got it. The Bandit takes one away. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and a base runner left on Canesione, the homer. McClough the good D to end the inning, and the Jays go up by 1. Nights of all time, July 12, 79. White Sox had a forfeit. The second game of a doubleheader. It was Disco Demolition Night. They got all the records and everything on the field, lit a fire, and the fans wouldn't leave. And the pitch taken for a strike by Reimold. Our moment in history brought to you by the Volkswagen Best Thing Ever event. Visit VWDealer.com. Reimold could not hold up on that one. Demolition Derby night, the fans got in for 98 cents if they had a disco record. They collected all the vinyl, put it in the outfield, lit it on fire between games. There were about 700 people on the field, and they wouldn't leave. They had a delay of an hour and 16 minutes to try and get game 2 started, and said to heck with it. 1-2 delivery. And a swing and a miss. Burley takes care of him in a hurry. Also on this date in 1910, one of baseball's great legendary verses, the Cubs double play combination, Tinkers to Evers to Chance. All of them are in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It was Franklin Pierce Adams who wrote the poem in the New York Evening Mail, lamenting the fact those Cubs were turning double plays against his Giants. It went on to become one of the great poems in baseball history and ended up being called Baseball's Sad Lexicon. It was not the original title he gave it. He called it that double play again. But a couple years later it got renamed when it was republished, and there we have it, Tinkers to Evers to Chance. A lot of people say without that poem, all 3 of them might not have made it to the Hall of Fame, but they were immortalized.
Really?
By the poem. Yep. 1-1 delivery. That's hit by Roberts to short. Reyes running throw. Manny Machado, you think he's having any effect on fans? I want to be a Machado man. Macho man.
Speaking of the disco era.
Yes, speaking of the disco era. Here is Manny Machado, grounded out his first time up, and the pitch will be taken for a ball. Burley has to be the fastest worker in Major League Baseball, and for that alone should be entered in the Hall of Fame immediately before he retires. At least in the broadcasters section of recognition. 1 ball, 1 strike count of Machado. Ground ball. Tried to kick it. Couldn't do it. Reyes, can he do it? Nope.
And he's shaking his head, but hey, that's a single. You got to do what you can off Burley. That pitch tailing away just off the end of the bat, but perfect placement by Manny Machado. You see Reyes getting there, but even if he fields it cleanly, I don't think there's a shot at Manny Machado. The glove just stays, or the ball stays in the glove. Invisible ball trick.
So the Orioles will pick up the infield hit for Manny Machado. Toronto leads at 3-2. Runner on at first base, 2 down. Here's Nick Markakis, who grounded out his first time up. You see Markakis standing out of the batter's box, just trying to slow the left-hander down. Burley's delivery to him. That's there for a strike. Markakis came in with a .282 number against Toronto in the year. 1 home run, 7 RBIs in the first 10 ball games. Machado being held at first by Encarnacion. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Markakis will take it. David Price getting a start for Tampa Bay as they try and continue their red-hot streak. He gave up a couple of runs, 4 hits in the first 2 innings, still in the ballgame against Houston, but Houston got the early lead against Tampa Bay. They are a red-hot team, the hottest in the American League. Throw over. Machado not very far off the bag, though. Just miss outside. Count goes to 2-1 on Nick. Don't forget tomorrow's ball game, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock for game 2 tomorrow. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Markakis going to get a base hit into left field. So Nick is on with the single. And as we were talking about last night with hitting coach Jim Presley, why is he so good? Why is he so consistent? That's why. Gold in the opposite field.
Yeah, he definitely has a great approach when he steps up to the box, not trying to ever do too much. If a pitcher makes mistakes, sure enough, he'll turn on it. But his sights are set hard to the middle of the field, and he is better than anybody at backing the ball up and taking it the other way.
Jim said he's the one on this ball club who does that better than anybody. Here is Adam Jones. Adam had a double and scored in the second inning. Orioles with 4 hits. Adam now 5 for 17, lifetime off Burley. Big cut on a breaking ball. It was fouled off.
Take a look at the most home runs versus one team. Miguel Cabrera leading the way against Cleveland with 13, but Chris Davis on there. Of course, 13 against Toronto. Edwin Encarnacion 13 against the Orioles, and Adam Jones against Toronto 11. So quite a group of home run hitters.
Lots and lots of big swings in this game with these two teams. 0-1 count, 2 down. Orioles with 2 on. Jones will take it down low. Aaron Sebia on the stop. Adam hitting a very solid .315 with runners in scoring position for the O's this year. One of the reasons he's been up among the leaders in RBIs. 1-1 delivery to him, fouled off. And the count of ball and 2 strikes. Adam comes into today 61 RBIs, ranked 8th. Cabrera still on top with 94. Davis second at 86. One manager on the right hoping for the big weekend series to gain ground in the East. John Gibbons on the left to keep his team's hope alive going into the All-Star break that they still have a shot. 11.5 out starting the day. 1-2 delivery on the way, and Jones swinging just gets a piece of that, fouls it off.
Well, Burley obviously taking note of Adam Jones' aggressiveness, really trying to expand the plate on Adam. Adam continuing to foul off some tough pitches, though. Keep this at bat alive.
And Sebia going out to make sure they know what they want to do here. Burley has been touchable when there have been 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Players hitting .277 against him. That's the situation here. Jones will take it inside. 2-2. Mark Burley, a pitcher who has accomplished many monumental feats, including a perfect game and another no-hitter. 2-2 delivery. Jones puts it in the air, left center field, way back. Goodbye, home run, Adam Jones. A 3 RBI shot for the Orioles, and they're back on top 5-3. And our Lexus of Towson drive of the game.
Adam Jones goes down and gets this one. It's on the plate. Sure, it's down in the zone, but it's a mistake to Adam Jones. He gets the head out and hammers this one. Big 3-run home run, and he continues his great power numbers against the Blue Jays.
And the Orioles back on top, and here's Chris Davis, who's got a homer. Davis will take that into the shift. Reyes, the shortstop, is there, makes the play. Our drive of the game brought to you by Lexus of Towson, Baltimore's #1 Lexus dealer. See why at lexusoftowson.com. Adam Jones with that drive here in the 3rd inning. Good for 3 and good for a 5-3 lead. For the achiever in you.
Yeah, Zach Zinicola, he's doing great. Last 10 games, 0-1 record with a 1.17 earned run average. Just 5 base on balls, 12 strikeouts and 15 1/3 this season. Pretty good earned run average at 3.38. 1-4 record, but pretty good numbers in 33 games. That's in Double-A Bowie on the season.
The Orioles back on top, and so far, this ball game just as expected. 2 home runs, all 3 runs for Toronto. Orioles, 2, all 5 runs. Right on cue. And Tillman's pitch swung on a miss. Roger Davis wanting to join the group right there. Davis grounded out his first time up. 0-1 count on Davis, sitting at 288. And a swing and a miss on the pitch away.
Wow, what a big breaking ball right there from Chris Tillman. When he has command of that pitch, it makes it really hard for hitters to catch up to it. That is a nasty bender.
0-2 count from Tillman. Tillman coming into the ball game is 10th in the league in wins, as he's 10-3 in the year. Team has gone 13-5 in the 18 starts that he has made. And got him. Strikeout number 3 for Tillman.
A great location on the fastball right there. Really kept Davis off balance the whole at bat. And I think that big curveball set up this fastball. Good location, down and away. Not even a swing attempt there.
The Orioles have scored 6 or more runs for Tillman in 5 games. And they're on the verge of doing that again in this one. And the pitch will be taken for a strike on the outside corner. Aaron Sebia, his 16th home run came in the 2nd inning. These two teams averaging 3.5 runs, home runs per ball game combined through the first 10. They are going to up that number. Already have here in this game in their 11th meeting. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and that ball in the air to the gap's going to fall in. It'll roll. Jones trying to cut it off out there. Does. Aaron Sebia will head to second base. Throw is a good one. And get him. Oh, mercy. What a play. Adam Jones with a tremendous throw from as far as he'll ever have to make one. And he gets Aaron Sebia trying to stretch it into a double.
That was an amazing defensive play for a center fielder. Full speed, makes the turn, and throws a strike to Hardy at second base to get Aaron Sebia. What a play by Adam Jones in center field. And J.J. Hardy with the slap tag to get Aaron Sebia. What a play. Chris Tillman appreciates that one.
That is one of the best throws from an outfielder I've seen ever.
Yeah.
That was a long throw, and he was on the move. Not only did he make the throw, but he had to hustle to cut it off because that was headed to the wall. So he sprinted to make sure he got there, and then had to make a 360 to get it back into the infield, and did. And Hardy's still looking out at him like, wow.
Yeah, that's impressive.
A chopper foul at the plate. DeRosa had a single his first time up. So a base hit. Aaron Sebia thrown out 8-6 for the second out of the inning.
Of course, this Orioles defense, has been spectacular all year, but it's plays like that Adam Jones made that even the other defenders on the Orioles become fans.
Machado will get that one and a little help and a great 1-2-3 inning. You'll see this one again. Adam Jones up. A quick turn right on the money. Hardy, the tag, and Aaron Sebia. That means only 3 come up in the inning. Orioles up. Orioles win and score 5 or more runs. Hint, hint. You get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com. Just enter promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Valid at participating Baltimore area Papa John's. And the score in this ball game?
Pizza time.
That's right. 5-3. And a strike taken by Wieters. Orioles may have lucked out with Mother Nature tonight. Philadelphia got washed out in their scheduled game in Philly against the White Sox. Wieters grounded out, followed by Hardy and then McLouth. Down to third and a base hit. Wieters puts it through, played by Davis. And the Orioles get the leadoff man on. All Maryland residents 21 and over are invited to visit Orioles.com/plates for your chance to win the official Orioles Maryland license plate number 83, plus an 83 World Series champion 30th anniversary floppy hat signed by the MVP, Rick Dempsey. Show your Birdland pride and enter to win the 83 champ package. Sweepstakes ends tonight, midnight. Don't delay. That's Orioles.com/plates. J.J. Hardy. Orioles have had the leadoff man on. 2 out of the 4. Have the 5-3 lead. Burley with a 2-0 count. There's the floppy hat we were talking about. Fans picking those up coming into the ballpark tonight. Hardy will foul it the other way off Burley.
Good pass on a 2-0 pitch from Burley. J.J. Hardy getting that head out in front. Just missed that one, but it's so hard off Burley. Always changing his speeds and pitches. Really throws below, obviously way below Major League average on the fastball. Mid-80s with the fastball and the good changeup off that. And that's a look at it right there at the bottom of the zone.
Burley has 179 wins, 137 losses in his career. John Gibbons trying to egg on the home plate umpire to call a few more strikes. 3-1 with a runner on at first base, and that'll be a drove foul. We talked about Burley's accomplishments. He got that first no-hitter in April of 2007 against Texas. Then he would pitch the perfect game in 2009 against Tampa Bay, the 18th in Major League history. He would go on to set a record, retiring 45 consecutive batters during that streak. Ground ball to short. Reyes, he'll have to hustle it. There's one, relay to first, not going to get it. So Hardy hits into the fielder's choice. They get Wieters at second.
Yeah, Burley has all kind of accolades. Certainly a great fielder as well. 4 Gold Gloves on his shelves at home. He's been an All-Star 4 times as well and has a World Series ring. He's a member of the White Sox back in 05.
He had surrendered only 2 home runs over his last 11 games. 2. The Orioles have already equaled that in the first 3 innings of this ball game. He started the year out giving up 11 home runs through the first 7, but then only 2 over the 11. Now Orioles have hit 2 already in this ball game. Nate McLouth. McLouth will put it up in the air, center field. Rasmus. Whoa. Rasmus took a look over to Davis to see whether or not they were close. I think almost lost sight of the ball.
Yeah. It's a tough sky right now. Keep your concentration.
2 down. Clouds passing by. But no rain since the ball game started. There was rain virtually all day on and off. So we said neither team got out to take BP or any infield. Off-speed breaking ball in there to Reimold. Reimold a strikeout victim his first time up. 5 for 9, 5 for 10 now with a home run lifetime off Burley. Reimold's the DH. And that'll be outside. Short lead at first for Hardy. 1-1 delivery. 2 ball, 1 strike count to it. The big house on hand here tonight. And so far, they've had a lot to stand up and watch. The ball's flying out of here. He'll catch the inside corner with that. Two-two. And took it. 3-2. Nolan almost looked like he was ready to head to the dugout on that.
Yeah, a couple borderline pitches on that inside corner. Ball goes in Reimold's favor there.
3 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way, and the off-speed pitch got him. 3 strikeouts for Burley, and 2 of those have come against Reimold. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. Orioles up. Lead over the Jays, first of 3 on the weekend, and Mike Bordick, pretty much exactly what we thought we were going to see from these 2 teams early on.
Yeah, definitely power hitting teams. You got to do that in the American League East. You got to know how to slug, and of course the Blue Jays and the Orioles doing it tonight. Big home run by Chris Davis and Adam Jones, and of course getting the home run from Encarnacion and JP Arancibia. And you hope it kind of quiets down a little bit now that the Orioles have the lead, but you never know in this ball game. Mistakes are made. The offense is going to take advantage of it.
Especially against 2 fly ball pitchers. I mean, you got 2 guys in the ball game who this season at least have had more outs recorded on fly balls. And it's not a really good idea to be a fly ball pitcher against either of these teams.
No, it sure isn't.
Because the fly balls tend to go a little further than most pitchers would like. Kawasaki leading it off, 1-0 count on him. And he will take the pitch down low. Kawasaki lined out in his only at bat. Reyes at the top of the order, waiting on deck. Kawasaki's hit all over the place in the lineup for them. Pitch will be taken up high. 2 for 11 numbers against Tillman coming into the game. One of the reasons probably moved down a little bit for the ball game tonight. Tillman with the 3-0 delivery. Kawasaki taking all the way for a strike.
And Tillman had a hard time getting ahead of Kawasaki in his first at bat. Fell behind 3-0, but came back to get him to line out to Chris Davis.
3-1 delivery on the way to him. That's in there. Tillman, the left-handers, hitting .248 against him on the year. Left-handers in the ball game, 2 for 7. Right-handers hitting .275 off him so far in this game, 4 for 10. So pretty much right where he's been all season, righty-lefty. And Kawasaki will take the walk. So a leadoff walk here in the 5th inning. On Friday, July 26th, the Orioles open a key 3-game weekend series with the division-leading Red Sox. Help paint the park orange as they battle for the East crown. Good seats remain, but won't last. Get them before the Red Sox fans do at 888-848-BIRD to go to Orioles.com. First walk surrendered by Tillman. He's got 3 strikeouts. Leadoff batter Reyes 0 for 2. Lined out, popped out. And he will take the pitch for a ball. Reyes, the switch hitting, slick fielding, really good ball playing shortstop. And are they, as we said before, happy to have him back in the lineup. 1-0 count. Pretty good lead at first. Kawasaki not going though. Same play, same result, 2-0. Kawasaki testing the limits over there at first right now. 2-0 delivery on the way, and that is in there for a strike.
Yeah, a lot of speed with Kawasaki at first base, and of course Reyes at the plate. The Orioles defense certainly has to be aware of that, and you know they are. Make sure of one out. Don't try to force the issue and make a mistake.
Kawasaki with a 7 out of 8 stolen bases, 63 total stolen by Toronto. And you thought about going after it, but stayed away. So Tillman falls behind him. 3 balls and 1 strike. As far as Toronto's concerned, Reyes come to play ball. Any discussions from where he'd been before and some concerns about whether he came to the ballpark ready to play and contribute and ready to go. Toronto says couldn't be better. Team player, great guy in the clubhouse and ready to go on the field. 3 ball, 1 strike count. And struck him out. No, sorry, 3-2. I was watching Kawasaki. Did you see what he did?
Yes.
He turned and ran in place for like 5 steps. He took like a step and then it was like he was jogging in place and never moved. 3-2 the count. Tillman the look over, long hold, runner goes. Reyes puts it in the air, left field. McLeod a long way to go into foul territory and no play. Now here's what we were talking about the pitch before. Watch Kawasaki.
The fake bluff.
What was that?
Didn't want to get too far out there. Of course, with Matt Weaver's arm.
Looked like a football player doing the tire drill. He was running on that last pitch. 3 ball, 2 strike count. He is a character. 3-2 delivery. He's running again and right into the hole. Perfect hit and run and hit. Whichever it was, Reyes put it right where Hardy had vacated.
Yeah, Chris Tillman painting the outside corner, but a nice job of hitting by Reyes as J.J. Hardy goes to cover second base. And just a good piece of hitting from Reyes.
7 hits for the Blue Jays, and they threaten again here in the 5th inning. Runners on at first and second base, and nobody out. And now, meat of the order coming up again. Bautista, then Encarnacion. Bautista struck out twice. 20 home runs, 54 RBIs. Bautista on the year now 65 strikeouts, but he's also got 50 walks. Bautista's one of those players who's got I haven't looked at it, but he's got to have a high average for balls put in play. Because when you strike out that bunch and draw that many walks, and you're still able to hit for a decent average in home runs, you got to be pretty good when you get it in play. Tillman with a 1-0 delivery. Bautista will take it for a strike.
Good fastball there, 93 miles an hour for Chris Tillman. He just challenges him with it. I think what's happened now is Chris Tillman has shown that he can throw that breaking ball for strikes, so it's in the back of the Blue Jays hitter's mind. He's able to take advantage of that and get some strikes with some fastballs.
1-1 delivery, getting to pop that up, but it'll be too far for a play. Ball and 2 strikes on Bautista. See the numbers on the season here, just what he's done, as we told you, historically in this ballpark with that 179 batting average. 1 home run, one of the 8 that he's hit here at Camden Yards this year. Our pitcher has done a good job of holding him down on the season. 1 ball, 2 strike count, 2 on. Dangerous situation for Tillman. 1-2 delivery. Bautista takes it outside.
Matt Wieters out to talk a little bit of how they're going to handle Bautista here with 2-2 count. Tillman certainly at the advantage.
Again, that pitch count we talked about earlier just running up. 86.
Well, it's definitely something that Buck Showalter and Rick Adair, try to address. Obviously getting ahead is a key for Chris Tillman. But that pitch count efficiency, they'd love to have him.
Got him as he reared back for a fastball strikeout.
There we go. 93 miles an hour at the top of the zone. Bautista extending it a little bit and can't get to the high heat from Chris Tillman. 93 miles an hour.
So that's 3 Ks in Bautista's column, 4 on the game for Tillman. Aaron Canaccio now with runners on at first and second base. His home run, 3rd inning, is 24th. 1 for 2. And the pitch is there for a strike. Aaron Canaccio in lifetime has had 22 home runs against the Orioles. 11 of them have come in this ballpark. 0-1 delivery. Aaron Canaccio up the middle, right into the shift. Roberts, 1, relay to first, and a big double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and Tillman gets out of having the first 2 on in the inning. So far, Chris Tillman getting the start. Bautista going down 3 times K-wise. Home runs, Davis getting 1 of them for the Orioles. His major league leading 35th. Fine play by McLeod to help out Jones. He's delivered the home run. 3 RBI shot and made a great defensive play to get Aaron Sebia trying to stretch a single to a double. So big house tonight. A lot of baseball to watch so far. We're only halfway through. 5-3 lead, bottom half of the 5th inning. Burley to Brian Roberts. Roberts in the leadoff spot is flied out, grounded out. First time he's batted leadoff since July 1 of 2012. There are the career numbers. 2-0 pitch to him outside, 3-0. Burley came in with the left-handers hitting .242. They've gone 2 for 7 against him in this one. Right-handers .286. They're 4 for 11 off Burley so far in the game, the right-handers. So like Tillman, the numbers in this game matching up to where they've been on the year. Twice he tried to coax that ball forward.
Yeah.
Twice he didn't get it. 3-2 delivery. Roberts will take it, and he's gone. Didn't get any of them, and he's saw Dana Demuth take that mask off in a hurry.
Couple tough pitches here to Brian Roberts. Little two-seamer that on the pitch track shows it catches the corner. Tough pitch to take for Brian.
So both managers have had their pleasant conversations with the home plate umpire tonight. Both have looked the same when they did it. And a strike taken by Manny Machado. Machado a single, a run scored, and he is grounded out. That hurts all the way to your soul right there. Little check swing. Somehow found the bat. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Burley's delivery to him will go to second base. Kawasaki. 2 down, 5th inning. And our 5th inning home run bonus for this inning only. Tonight's Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game gets $500 for any Oriole home run. Daniel Clark, you've already won $1,100 tonight. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. Markakis with a single, 1 for 2. Burley with 2 down. Orioles in the second inning. Davis 2-run homer. Third inning. Jones 3-run homer. Toronto second inning 2-run homer. Arancibia, Encarnacion home run in the third inning. 5-3. One delivery. Breaking ball. Orioles playing .500 baseball against left-handed starters, 14-14. That's 7th in the American League against lefties, right in the middle of the pack. 2-1 delivery. That's going to go to right field. That'll stay up. Bautista's there to haul it in, and Burley has a clean 1-2-3 inning. Did it in the first, does it again here in the 5th. Orioles lead by 2. Page. They are the Jays. They and the Astros, according to the Toronto Star, are going to join in a new spring training complex in Palm Gardens, Florida, around Palm Beach, to go there after 2016. They'll be leaving Dunedin. They have lost 4 straight against the Orioles, have won 4 straight, but have lost 9 out of 12 here in Baltimore. And they came in 3 games without a home run. They've got 2 of them here in this ball game. When they don't hit a home run, they're 12-22 on the year. They've gotten them in this one. So interesting that the new spring training facility apparently is going to be a go. It's been rumored for a while. The Astros wanted to get out of Kissimmee only because the structure's old. Same thing for the Jays in Dunedin, and apparently they'll both be on the east coast of Florida come 3 years from now. one of the closer teams to the Orioles in Sarasota. And a big swing by Adam Lind. Constant movement of teams looking for new facilities, new, big, better.
Yeah, well, definitely. But you see what the Orioles have done. Obviously, the facility they have in Sarasota, and it's made a difference. I mean, you know, you put players in a great environment, and they feel good about themselves. And I think, you know, ever since they made that move to Sarasota, there's just been a better vibe around the whole organization, and seems to be showing up with wins as well.
2-1 delivery on the way. Lind has a single, 1 for 2 in the ball game. We're in the 6th inning. Game number 1, 4 o'clock game tomorrow back here at Camden Yards. Jason Hamill 7-5. Todd Redmond 1-1. The scheduled starters in that game. And Lind puts it up in the air. Third base. Machado, Hardy wants it, and Hardy will take it. 1 away. Join Orioles Reach and Oriole Advocates for the 13 Orioles Hall of Fame luncheon on Friday, August 2 here at Camden Yards. Celebrate as former O's All-Star Roberto Alomar is going to be honored, along with Herb Armstrong Award winner Don Preez. Proceeds benefit the Oriole Advocates Charitable Foundation. For tickets and complete details, 410-247-2703. That's for August 2. Colby Rasmus. Rasmus has doubled, scored, flied out to left field. Infield moving over against him, playing him to pull. 1-0 pitch to him, taken inside. Rasmus this season against the Orioles coming in with just a 182 average, home run, 3 RBIs. Oriole pitchers holding him down a bit. Tillman falls behind him, 3-0. 97 pitches. 3-0 delivery. And that's in there for a strike.
At this point in the ballgame, Chris Tillman certainly doesn't want to give any free passes. Seen the power already from the Blue Jays in this ballgame. They get 1 or 2 guys on, and anything can happen.
3-2. Tillman with the 3-2 delivery, and that ball put up in the air right behind the mound, or at the mound. Manny Machado, nobody's going to get it. Machado was in the shift and was playing deep and over towards second. Not sure Matt Wieters saw it. So the only one left to get it was Machado. He couldn't get there. It's a base hit.
Yeah, Manny had a long way to go, but he took his eye off the ball right at the last second to see if Wieters was going to come out and get it. He's busting hard, but you look down right there. He glances, and just enough time for that ball to drop in front of Manny and Matt Wieters. That last peak cost Manny.
So Rasmus, 2 hits in the ballgame. 8 in the game for the Jays. And here's Rajah Davis, will take it up high for a ball. So 1 down, 1 on. Davis has struck out and grounded out.
There are rare occasions in baseball when a pitcher should probably catch a fly ball, and it's tough because Chris Tillman doesn't really know where the defenders are, but there are those instances where pitchers can catch it.
1-0 the count. See if the Jays take advantage of a little door opening here. Rasmus back to the bag. Five, 6-0 for the Orioles, 3-8-0 for the Jays. Jays have left 3, the Orioles 1. Tillman, the 1-0 delivery. Speedy forward, speedy backward.
Yeah, the quick move, fastball hard, up and in. Bends Davis back, and just enough to lose his balance. Can't regain it there, and he falls down the third base line.
2-0 count. And a count on a pitch away, right where you want to go after you've knocked him off the plate. 2-1.
Now we've talked about purpose pitches, even though that one I don't think was intentional. Well, you can work something off it. Great location on the fastball down and away there.
Rajah Davis, now 32 years old, 270 lifetime major league hitter. 2-1 count on him. And Davis on a pitch back inside. Tillman gets it evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tillman trying to get through the 6th inning. 2-2, 1 out. Rasmus off first. And Davis goes down swinging. 5 Ks for Tillman.
Well, Tillman's getting a lot of chases up in the zone on his fastball. There's a little extra life here. 94 miles an hour, and Davis chases it up and out of the zone. That little kick at the end, almost rising fastball, and gets it by another Jays hitter.
8 strikeouts, his high this season. Asensio, just coming up to the ball club today, is up in the bullpen. He was the closer at AAA. Lajaro Asensio up, and we may get a chance to see him here in this ball game. JP Arancibia. Arancibia, 2-down runner at first, home run, number 16 in the 2nd inning, 2 RBIs. Base hit in the 4th, denied a double, and a great play by Adam Jones to throw him out from center. The 0-1 to him will be inside. 1 ball, 1 strike count. There aren't many places in either of these batting orders for these pitchers where they can just kind of relax a little bit. Just don't have it.
They sure aren't. And even the guys at the bottom of the order have good speed, so they put a lot of pressure on a pitcher as well.
1 ball, 1 strike count. High fly ball, center field. Jones. He's got it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. First of 3 in the weekend series, and the Orioles up 5-3.
Davis with the bomb in the 2nd inning. That's a 2-run home run. And Encarnacion answers back in the 3rd with a solo shot. A Machado Marquez single, and Adam Jones delivers a big 3-run home run off Mark Burley. And Adam Jones shows the leather why he's a Gold Glove outfielder. The quick spin, perfect throw to J.J. Hardy at 2nd base to get Arancibia. Chris Tillman loves that one. Remember, Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Here's the game summary. It's 5-3-0. Chris Davis 1 for 2 with that 2-run home run. Adam Jones with a big day, 2 for 2, double and a 3-run shot, and an Encarnacion 1 for 3 with that solo homer.
And here is Adam Jones to lead it off against Burley in the bottom of the 6th inning. Adam now the double of runs scored, home run, 3 RBIs. Big night for the Oriole All-Star center fielder, and doing it as you saw on that defensive play. Here's the 1-0 delivery and a chopper to the middle. He's got another one. Base hit. So Jones 3 for 3 in the ball game, and the Orioles get the leadoff man on here in the 6th inning.
Another tough pitch from Burley, down and away, but Adam Jones stays on it and drives this one up the middle. Kawasaki give it chase, but he can't quite get to that one. Adam Jones just a triple away now in the cycle.
3 out of 6 innings. Orioles have had the leadoff man on against Burley, who retires 70% of leadoff batters on the year. And here's Chris Davis again. Davis got his major league leading 35th in the 2nd inning, grounded out his 2nd time up. Shift on, he hits right into it, base hit. Bautista up with it. Jones at 2nd will stop. So Davis has got a 2-hit ball game. He's 2 for 3, and the Orioles get the first 2 on in the 6th inning. Davis looks like really is out of that slump now. He's putting the bat on the ball, be it a home run or a base hit.
Yeah, he is. Another good swing there, and Burley tried to go away, but Chris Davis with the long arms, great extension, able to get that one out there in front of Bautista.
Now the Orioles will try and pick up on that runner in scoring position number that's bothered them of late. 159 over the last 11 games coming into this one. Big swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch. Wieters, he has singled and grounded out. Here in the homestand, 6 for 30 in the first 4 games, 27 left on base for the Orioles. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Wieters takes it down low, and Burley with a 1-ball-1-strike count. Veteran left-hander, 5-5 in the year. Facing the Orioles for the first time, John Gibbons Ball Club. Trying to have a big finish, as are the Orioles in this final series before the break. Went up and got one and fouled it off. Both bullpens now active. Juan Perez up for Toronto. And Tommy Anders just started throwing for the Orioles. You kind of see the Orioles thought on the use of Asensio, the pitcher they called up. He gets up to come in that inning if he was needed to get an out. Once the inning's over, he sits down. Hunter gets up. Infield fly rule in effect. Encarnacion will make the play. 1 away. Wieters retired, leaving Jones and Davis on at 2nd and 1st. And here's J.J. Hardy. Hardy is grounded out, hit into a fielder's choice. Burley, whether there's anybody on or not, rocks along off on that third base side of the pitching rubber, and the pitch will just miss outside for a ball. Lead runner Jones. And a chopper that'll go foul. One ball, 1 strike, 1 down. Rick Showalter's team looking for their 52nd win. They can pick one up here against Toronto. John Gibbons' team just trying to get back to 500. If they can get 3 wins this weekend, they'd have to sweep, though, this series against the Orioles to do that, to get to the All-Star break with a 500 record. 1-1 delivery up high.
And the Blue Jays coming into this season obviously made a lot of moves over the winter, and they were making a push. Obviously thinking that it was the right time to try to take over the American League East, and they were aggressive in the free agent market. A lot of new faces.
In the air, left field. That ball's deep. Davis looking way back. Goodbye. Home run. The Orioles get another. And another 3-run shot. This one goes to another All-Star. Hardy.
Some power hitters obviously in this Orioles lineup, and they are hitting them tonight.
So the Orioles jump out.
Yeah, a little cutter here going into the inner third. Make a mistake to J.J. Hardy, and he's going to make you pay. He did there. Look at the swing here. Oh, beautiful head position. Burley knows right off the bat that's another 3-run homer.
Here is Nate McLouth, and he'll take the ball in the air towards right. Bautista comes over and puts it away for the second out of the inning. Well, Manny Machado's got to get a home run now. The other All-Stars, Jones, Davis, and Hardy have all hit one.
Right.
And hit, no question, home runs. So Burley, who had surrendered 13 homers coming into the ball game and only 2 in the last 11 games, gives up 3 so far in this ball game. Hardy, a 3 RBI shot, as was true for Jones, fouled off. Orioles leading it by a score of 8-3. Orioles with a league leading 128 home runs now, followed by Toronto with 114. 1-2 on Reimold. Reimold, a couple of strikeouts in the game. Asensio is back up in the bullpen. That's in play. Burley in the glove. Got it. But the Orioles get it done. 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors, nobody left. J.J. Hardy adding to the home run totals for the Orioles. 3 RBIs and an 8-3 lead. Only 3 losses as his night is complete.
Yeah, pretty good job. They controlled this Blue Jays lineup pretty well, executing the high fastball on many occasions. Getting a lot of strikeouts up in the zone. 6 innings pitched for Tillman tonight. 8 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned by way of the home run. 1 walk and the 5 strikeouts, 108 pitches. And he gives way to the newest Oriole, Jairo Asensio. 34 games in the minor leagues. 4-0 record, 2.15 earned run average, 41 strikeouts in 37 2/3 innings, and just 7 base on balls. Buck Showalter and Rick Adair call him up to give him a good look because he's had some impressive numbers, and he's got a live arm.
So Asensio out of the bullpen, having just arrived, joined the Orioles today. Their closer in Norfolk was 20 for 25, converted his last 7. Held batters to a 174 average, right-handers 176, left-handers 172 at Norfolk this year. 1-0 delivery on the way, and that will be taken inside for a ball. DeRosa single, 1 for 2. Seventh inning, and the pitch will be taken up high. Orioles with the 8 runs on 9 hits. Blue Jays 3 runs on 8 hits. Orioles have left only 1. And he's back in the 4th inning. Otherwise, runners on, home run, everybody scores. Davis 2-run homer. Jones 3-run homer, and Hardy the 3-run homer. Here's the 3-0 delivery. Asensio's pitch will be in there for a strike, and it goes to 3-1.
Well, that's what he needed. Hopefully just throwing that first strike will settle him down a little bit, get more into the zone. And this big lead, you certainly don't want to give free passes now.
DeRosa waiting on a 3-1 delivery, and that too will be in there for a strike. At the major league level, Asensio 1-2, 5.23 ERA, 39 games with Atlanta, Cleveland, and the Cubs. Originally signed by the Pirates back in 01. 3-ball, 2-strike delivery inside. He did. Walking. So the leadoff man on here in the 7th inning. Only the second walk Toronto's picked up. Here's our AT&T Mobility Trivia Fact.
Yeah, take a look. Since June 27th, the O's bullpen has just a 1.52 earned run average. That's best in the American League. And that's what happens when starting pitching gets deeper into ball games. You have a strong bullpen. The Orioles certainly have had it since June 27th.
Kawasaki has lined out, drawn a walk, the number 9 hitter. Runner at first, nobody out. And the pitch will be in there for a strike. Oh, 1. Short lead at first base for DeRosa. Asensio's pitch will miss away. 1-1 strike count. Even with a bag at third, Manny Machado. And the 1-1 delivery on the way. That'll catch it. And the count goes to 1-2. Showalter getting a look at Asensio in this ball game. Claimed off waivers April 4 from Oakland. 1-2 delivery right back to him. Can he play D? Not too well, but gets the out. You saw him hesitate making that throw to second base, but they get the force out on DeRosa.
Yeah, fielded it cleanly, but a little bit of a pause, and then the throw to J.J. Hardy. But tell you what, that's why you have J.J. Hardy out there. He is aware of the situation, kind of guiding the throw. And J.J. making sure of that lead out, still keeping the double play in order.
Runner at first, 1 down. And Reyes at the top of the order. A single, 1 for 3. Reyes in his first action against the Orioles. He was on the DL in the previous 10 games. Though he gets to see the O's and vice versa for the first time this year. 1-0 count. But a career .423 hitter against the Orioles with 1 home run. Runner off first base, 1-0 delivery. Reyes will take it outside. Tillman with the 6 solid innings, chance to go 11-3. 2-0 pitch. These teams came in combining for about 11.5 runs a game, and that's right where they are. With the 11 that have been put on the board, they were 3.4 home runs per game in their first 10 meetings. They certainly have taken care of that. The Orioles have got 3. Toronto's got 2. 2-1 delivery. That'll go towards the hole. Diving. Roberts not able to get it. Runner will stop at second base. Now it gets dangerous. Even with a big lead as the big bats are coming up. MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At bat delivers Orioles baseball, live audio pitch tracking stats, highlights, and more. Text at bat 31826 or go to Orioles.com. Left-hander Brian Mattis will not throw the water bottle. Bautista. He has struck out 3 times. 2 on. And that's a strike. Bautista, both he and Encarnacion struggling at the plate. The Orioles will take that. He's only had 2 hits in his last 22 at bats. Asensio's 0-1 delivery to him, and that'll come inside for a strike.
He's got good movement on his changeup. Takes a little off there, a little fading action down and in. The first pitch he's thrown, or first slider he's thrown to Bautista there was a good pitch. You've seen his fastball working it in the low 90s.
Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way in. A check swing of the ball down low. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. 1-2 on Bautista, the ever dangerous. It's a problem for pitchers, and when you have teams like the Orioles and this team from Toronto playing, you're just never sure. There aren't enough runs because you get somebody on, then comes the long ball. 1 down here. Here's the 1-2 delivery, and then foul back. He is certainly taking his full swings.
Matt Wieters out to talk to Asensio, making sure they're on the same page here. There's one mistake can get the Blue Jays obviously right back into this ball game.
Cheering on the birds. The bird. 1-ball, 2-strike count. Battle here. Asensio. Oh, did he fool him on that one? He swung while it was in the mitt. The golden sombrero for Bautista.
And take a look at the Verizon Fios here. A beautiful pitch, changeup. Bautista's expecting something down and away, and it just ties him up. Bautista goes down for the 4th time tonight.
Well, the struggle continues for Bautista. Here's Encarnacion. A home run, is 24th, 1 for 3. And a strike. Kawasaki at second, Reyes on at first. And the 0-1 delivery down to third and just fouled. Oh, 2 the count. Asensio's 0-2 delivery and a check swing foul ball.
Boy, they're having a hard time picking that changeup up. Great arm action from Asensio. He really sells it well. And look at the movement on this pitch. It's just diving down into the bottom of the zone. We've seen Batista, a great power hitter, locked up on an Encarnacion, who's been swinging the bat well. Looked kind of funny on that swing.
Still 0-2 on him. Asensio's delivery with 2 down is drilled foul. It'll stay at 2 strikes. Encarnacion now with just 3 hits in his last 21 at-bats. One of them, though, being the home run here this inning. Or this ball game. There are the 2 base runners on ahead of him. Timeout taken. Here's the 0-2 delivery again. Down goes to 1-2.
That's a really good pitch there. That's the location you want. You're ahead 0-2. Make tough pitches down in the zone, off the plate a little bit. I'm sure that's what Wieters said. Listen, you're ahead. Got to make some quality pitches, see if they'll chase.
1-2 delivery to him, and he got him. Tag put on by Wieters. Asensio comes on, gets 2 strikeouts, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. 7th inning stretch time at Camden Yards. It was on this date, actually, the first All-Star game that black players played in. It came at Ebbets Field. It included names like Roy Campanella, Jackie Robinson, Don Newcomb, and Larry Doby. In '66, National League defeated the AL 2-1 at the newly built Busch Stadium. Temperatures 105. They treated over 150 people for heat exhaustion. It was 113 on the field. And in '33, Ken Griffey Jr. became the first and only Major League player to hit the warehouse. He did it on the fly here at Camden Yards, a 460-foot shot during the All-Star Game home run hitting contest.
Well, that's impressive. Mark Burley, though, now out of the ball game. 6 innings pitched. Orioles offense got to him. 9 hits, 8 runs, all 8 of those earned. No walks, 4 strikeouts, and 101 pitches thrown. And he gives way now. Juan Perez.
Perez coming on in relief as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. And the pitch will be taken. Roberts in the leadoff spot. He has an 0 for 3 in the ball game as John Gibbons keeps the lefties coming. And Perez with an 0-2 count. Roberts, Manny Machado, and Markakis due up for the Orioles. Fires one that'll miss away. Count goes to 1-2. Perez out of the bullpen that of late has done a good job for them. Juan Perez has not allowed an earned run the last 18 2/3 innings. He was called up from Buffalo, their AAA ball club, on May 29. And with the help of his numbers since that time, Toronto's bullpen has led the majors in earned run average at 1.78. 1-2 count on Roberts. Perez, Roberts to second, Kawasaki to first, and one down. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Big crowd of 42,660, 42,660 on hand for the first of three. A chopper by Machado. Perez is all energy, bobbled it, gets it. Perez is like a jack in the box. You can't get back in the box. Just hopping all over the place, whether he's throwing it or going after it.
Yeah, pretty impressive recovery here. Nice pitch away right off the end of the bat, and it's spinning. He can't glove it, but pretty good recovery, bare hand, and the flip to just get Manny Machado in time.
And then Perez able to record the out. Juan Perez with two down. Nobody on. Markakis 1 for 3, a single and a run scored. Perez, a veteran, he's 34 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. He's pitched around with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and now here. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and that's a strike.
Perez obviously has some pretty good stuff. I mean, he's got a live fastball. He's throwing in the low 90s and a hard slider, but I really think, it's his delivery that throws hitters off, and I'm sure it's the reason why a lot of teams haven't really taken a better look at Perez, because it looks like it's an injury waiting to happen. Really steps open on that front side and exposes, leaves his shoulder dragging behind. There's a lot of torque on that.
Free agent signing last December by the Jays. Ball will be popped up back over the screen and out of play.
Take a look at Juan Perez's delivery from the side. Got the good knee kick, but that right foot goes way over on the third base side of the mound, and it is just a max effort, really unorthodox delivery.
All arm and shoulder.
Yes.
1-2 count coming to Markakis. Pitchers want to take advantage usually of that back leg. They're watching this delivery. So he uses none of it. He's got 2 feet on the ground when he lets the ball go.
That's right. You got that head jerk and then a big recoil at the end.
2-2 delivery, and that'll be down low. So the count goes full on Markakis, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Markakis a 1 for 3. Machado's had a 1 for 4. Jones 3 for 3 in the ball game. Davis 2 for 3, home run, couple of RBIs, a lot of hits. Comebacker. Perez has got it. Conley makes the play and gets help. Encarnacion had to come off the bag to get it, but he got back in time. So 7 complete. Just about that time of the night where you're hungry for just about a pretzel with a little salt on it. against Todd Redmond. Our coverage on MASN HD 3:30. Those extra presented by Geico, and our game coverage at 4 on MASN HD and WJZ. All the access you need right here on MASN.
And Brian Mattis now in the ball game. Been doing a great job for the Orioles. Take a look here. 6 straight scoreless appearances, 5 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings. And he is locating very well. You see those pitches down at the bottom of the zone, getting some chases on his off-speed pitches. He's at the top of his game right now. This will be his 41st game, 3.53 earned run average. 35 2/3 innings worked with 29 strikeouts and 10 base on balls. Opponent batting average at 211. The lefties, he is carving up at 137. The righties much better at 309.
Sencio, his debut with the Orioles this year, working the inning, giving up just 1 hit, had a walk, a couple of strikeouts for him. Now Brian Mattis works against Adam Lind, and Lind will take the pitch for a strike. He is singled. 1 for 3 in the ball game, hitting .296 off lefties, and the shift on with Manny Machado playing shallow right all the way over from third base. 0-1 delivery to Lind. Check swing. Did he go? Nope. Doug Eddings down at third.
And take a look here. Did he go? No, he did not. Good call.
Mattis with a 1-1 delivery, and Lind in a big cut can't catch up to it. One and 2. Lind, Rasmus, Davis due up in the inning. And the 1-2 pitch will miss. 2 ball, 2 strike count. In the East, Boston continues their trip out west. They're going to finish up the road trip in Oakland. They were in Seattle, now go to Oakland to play there for the weekend. Two balls and 2 strikes. And goes full.
Good pitch there. Brian Mattis missed his spot, but Matt Wieters holding the glove, trying to get the call. Looked like it came or stayed on the plate.
3 ball, 2 strike count. The Yankees are at home against Minnesota to finish it up. That'll go right to Machado. So Lind is retired. L5, even though he's playing in right field. Time to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. Here are the candidates. Chris Davis, Major League leading 35th home run, 2 RBIs, couple of runs scored. He's had a single as well. Adam Jones, 3 for 3 night. He's had a double, a 3-run homer, a single. 3 times has crossed the plate. J.J. Hardy, another home run. His 16th 3 RBI shot. Text in your vote. A, B, or C. 31826. Rasmus. Shift stays just as it was for Lind. Double and scored in the 2nd inning on Aaron Sebia's home run. And Encarnacion had the home run in the 3rd inning for the Jays' 3rd run. That has been it. They've only had 3 hits since, all singles. See Manny Machado out there in shallow right field. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 down in the 8th. The other way, Wieters. And no play.
You see Brian Mattis actually giving chase on that fly ball as well. Now he's aware of the big shift. So there's a lot of room to be covered by J.J. Hardy and Matt Wieters. And Brian trying to help out.
He also saw Chris Tillman let a ball go by earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
When the shift was on, nobody got to it, and it fell in on the side of the mound for a base hit. 1-2 count on Rasmus. And that'll end up going into center field. Base hit. That looked like it got redirected. Did that hit the glove?
I don't know. Let's see here on the replay. It's a bullet back up the middle. I think it was just kind of cut a little bit, so had that little fade going the other way.
Boy, Rasmus, hot night. 3 for 4. Kobe Rasmus, who's got a 5-game hit streak, trying to get it going here in the 8th inning. Rajah Davis, 2 strikeouts, and he is grounded out. And Davis takes the pitch down low for a ball. Davis, 333 off left-handers with a home run. Rasmus on at first base, not going to go anywhere. They need to keep their base runners. Down by 5. That's in there for a strike.
And big reason right there why Brian Mattis has been having so much success out of the bullpen, really throwing downhill, working the bottom of the strike zone consistently.
1-1 delivery to Davis. Infield back in their normal alignment for Davis. Davis 3 for 14 off Brian Mattis. 2-1 delivery to him, and he'll miss that one. Great tailing action on it. 2-2.
Yeah, beautiful pitch here. Late bite on the hard slider. You see him get on the side of that baseball, and right at the end, Davis can't catch up to that one.
2-2. Roller. Be a tough play everywhere. There is none. Not going to get Davis with all that speed. So Rajah Davis is on with an infield hit, and Toronto gets 2 on with 1 out here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, pretty frustrating for Brian Mattis. Made another really good pitch, just off the end of the bat. Nothing he could do about it.
So that will do it with Aaron Sebia coming up. Power right-handed hitter. Buck Showalter coming up. Mattis out. Tommy Hunter will be coming out of the bullpen. The Orioles on top in this one. All about homers, and they lead at 8-3.
Is a monster for the Orioles out of the bullpen. This will be his 37th appearance. 1.97 earned run average, 39 strikeouts, and just 9 base on balls. Take a look at the opponent batting average, just 180. Lefties at 253 and righties at just a mere 103. He's up against a couple tough ones here. J.P. Arencibia already with a home run in this ball game.
Tommy Hunter, 12 out of 14 inherited, have been left stranded. He's getting retired 29 of the 36 first batters that he has faced in a ball game. So Hunter works with runners on at first and second. Arencibia's 16th home run, second inning. Single his next time up. Aaron Sebia would put that one up in the air to right field, not deep. Roberts out, Markakis in. Roberts, he's got it. Runners stay where they are. 2 down. So Hunter comes on to get a big out. Now Mark DeRosa. DeRosa's faced Hunter only once, 0 for 1. Starting at third base, a single, a walk, and he is grounded out. Brett Laurie had been injured on a rehab, minor leagues. They're working him out at second base. He had been their third baseman, of course, last year, and coming into this year, they had high hopes for him. To John Gibbons and the company in Toronto, we understand, maybe thinking about actually assigning him to the minors.
Well, trying to find a position for him. A little inconsistent over at third base, trying him up the middle, but really it was about hitting.
Yeah.
For him, he just wasn't swinging it the way he's capable of, so maybe just some time in the minor leagues to get his swing back. Hitting
only .209 with the big club this year. A big blow to them. They were really counting on him for some offense. Here's the 2-0 delivery, fisted. Foul into the seats. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
Boy, that ball was just attacking DeRosa. 96 miles an hour, just running in. And he was in a good hitting count. Looked like he was just trying to fight that one off.
Here's the 2-1 delivery on the way. Tommy Hunter went outside. And the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Orioles up by a score of 8-3. Toronto batting in the 8th inning. Tommy Hunter trying to keep that score right where it's at. And not let these big bats have an opportunity to get within striking distance. That'll be fouled back again. For Tommy Hunter this season, game number 5 against the Jays, he's worked 5 2/3 innings, given up 4 runs and 11 hits, including a couple of home runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Jays in the number of those games hitting for a .407 average. Runners go, and that'll go to center, and Adam Ball. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 are left on base, and the Orioles on top. They're not as cute as she is, but they still have the lead. Finished products. Well, actually one. The one on the right. The other's got a long way to go, but what a great start. Here's Neil Wagner.
Yeah, he's coming in. This will be his 19th appearance. 3.12 earned run average. 15 hits in 17 1/3 innings. 13 strikeouts with 6 base on balls for him. And he's trying to slam the door here. Give the Blue Jays another opportunity before it's too late.
Orioles bat, bottom half of the 8th inning. Perez came on, worked an inning, retired the side. Adam Jones heavily involved in boys clubs, girls clubs, because it meant so much to him. Today, groundbreaking ceremonies. Brooklyn O'Malley Boys and Girls Club held today. The New Technology Learning Center on 3rd Street here in Baltimore. Orioles Charitable Foundation and Jones donated $75,000 earlier this year. He loves doing that. You just know he does. He took the kids in there as they get ready with the master painter working with them right there. That's great for Adam Jones and company, and that'll be wonderful for the Boys and Girls Club, and he's deeply involved in that. Yeah, Adam batting here.
That is great stuff for Adam Jones. The community certainly loves Adam for the efforts that he shows them.
First base, Encarnacion on the way here in the bottom of the 8th inning. For every Orioles walk this season, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to the Y of Central Maryland's Fit and Fun program. 227 walks, $11,350. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Chris Davis picked up a home run, 2nd inning, 35th, 2 RBIs, grounded out, then got a single and a run scored in the 6th.
And Wagner challenging Davis right there. Firm fastball. He can get it up to 98. A live arm.
And that'll be taken away. Chris Davis launched one the other way against left-hander Mark Burley. 35 on the year, the most in the majors. And one yesterday, one today. A couple of hits in the ball game. Good news for Chris Davis. 1-2. Since June 28, Chris has gone 9 for 47. And 7 of the 9 hits have been home runs. He'll get him that time. Walker with a strikeout.
Yeah, he just challenged Chris Davis through the hole at bat. And here's another fastball. Hit it if you can. 97 miles an hour on that one.
Wagner has struggled of late. He gave up only 1 run in his first 12 games, 12 innings. He's given up 5 in the last 6 games, going 5 1/3. Matt Wieters up against him. Pitch taken for a ball. Matt with a single, 1 for 3. Orioles on top, 8-3, trying to win their 3rd in a row. And Wieters will take it for a strike. A ball game with all home runs by Davis, Jones, and Hardy for the Orioles. Aaron Sebia and Encarnacion the other way. 1-2. And Wieters will go down swinging. So 2 strikeouts for Wagner. 1, 2, 3 here in the 8th. We go to the top of the 9th. Orioles need 3, and it's a W. Player of the game right now, Adam Jones on top. You still have a chance to cast your vote at 31826. Results on the O's Extra post-game show. Big night for Adam, 3 for 4. The double, the home run, 3 RBIs. Tommy Hunter will try and finish this ball game up. Not a save situation. There is Adam finishing up his tosses, giving one to the fans. Tillman waiting to see if he'll get the win in the ball game, as he gave up 3 runs, 8 hits over 6. Could go 11-3 with a victory here. Sensio worked an inning, gave up only a hit, walk, couple of strikeouts. Brian Mattis for a third, couple of hits, and Tommy Hunter coming on to finish up in that last inning. That one will be fouled away. Kawasaki. He's lined out, walked it into a fielder's choice. Number 9 hitter, then Reyes and Bautista due up. Oh, 2 delivery to him and checks it.
And you see Kawasaki trying to gear up for that fastball. If Kawasaki took Tommy Hunter deep up in Toronto.
It's 4 for 4 against him. 4 for 5 in a minute. Brian Roberts to play. 1 down, 9th inning. Gurley would be the loser. 5-5 coming in. He gave up 8 runs, 9 hits over 6. One down, and Reyes 2 singles, 2 for 4. That's in there for a strike. Oh, 1, that's going to be a base hit into left field. McLouth over to get it. So Reyes, a 3-hit ball game in his first game against the Orioles this year, 3 for 5. A dozen hits in the game for the Jays. They have out hit the Orioles 12-9, but the Orioles have that 8-3 lead, and 8 have been left on by the Jays. Bautista, the golden sombrero, not wanting the platinum version. Now with only 2 hits in his last 23 times to the plate for Bautista. And fouls it back. Hitting .258 on the year.
The Orioles pitchers have done a nice job in this ball game. Not a lot of real good swings. It seemed a little bit in between throughout the count. Chris Tillman was mixing in some really good breaking balls, keeping him off balance.
A lot of meetings, Hunter and Bautista. 6 for 28. Lifetime off the Oriole right-hander. And the 2-1 pitch. Way up in the air. Left field, not deep. McLouth. Just trying to find that one. That was up there. 2 down. Bautista takes an 0 for 5. You saw McLouth trying to get his eyes back in shape.
Yeah, he was locking in on that ball for a long time. There was some tremendous hang time on that pop-up.
So 42,000 plus. Most of them coming to their feet here. 2 down, 9th inning. Runner at first. Orioles lead at 8-3. Encarnacion, a home run, 1 for 4. Stands in. Take the pitch for a strike. Encarnacion 6 for 18 with 2 home runs off Hunter. And he drills that one. McLouth going back and looking. That ball is going to hit right off the top of the wall. Reyes will go to third. That's about as long a single as you're going to see. Encarnacion made the big turn. McLeod played it well, though, got it in, and Reyes goes over to third base on the long single.
Yeah, Tommy Hunter kind of lucky there. Got away with a mistake, and just to come away with a single, pretty close to being a 2-run home run.
Adam Lind 6 for 28 against Hunter with a homer. Two down, runner going from first, ball popped back foul. Orioles trying to end the 4 in a row the Jays have won against them coming into this one. It'll miss. Encarnacion will take second. Defensive indifference. One ball, one strike delivered.
Tommy Hunter with the high heat, 96. Fans loving it.
Here's the 1-2 down to first. That is a fair ball. It'll score 2 runs. On his way to second base is Lind. Lind's got a double and 2 RBIs as Reyes and Encarnacion will score. Not done yet.
Never easy in the American League East, and how he got to this ball, I don't know, but he gets it right down the line, just past the diving effort of Chris Davis. And Encarnacion and Reyes scoring easily on the double by Lind.
So Lind with a couple of hits in the ball game makes it an 8-5 game. Now Jim Johnson, the Oriole closer, gets ready in the bullpen. Lind getting RBIs 35 and 36, and it's a save, and it's Johnson. So Tommy Hunter will come out of there with 2 down. The nature of the beast in this day and age. You're paying players to do a particular job. Tommy's long man, hold man, but if it's a save, it's Jim Johnson. So Jim comes on here in the 9th inning, 2 down and a runner on.
Yeah, Tommy's competitive juice is certainly flowing. And he gives way to Jim Johnson, though, to try to come up with this big out. This will be his 46th game. 31 saves on the year, 34 strikeouts and 42. Then a third innings for Jim Johnson. See the opponent batting average at 259, lefties 261, and righties at 257.
Jim against Toronto this year, 1 win, 2 losses, 2 for 3 in saves. This is game number 6 he's pitched against them. 5 runs, 7 hits, and 4 2/3 innings. Rasmus to end the ball game. Roberts charging. He's got it to play. That's that. So Jim Johnson coming on and getting the out, having to throw only 1 pitch to pick up the save in the game and the celebration in center. The Orioles win it first of 3. There's your line. 8-9-0 for the Orioles. 5-14-0 for the Jays.